Hello everybody, welcome to a special edition of Art Whisperer 88. Today I'm going to do some collage on canvas panel. Now this is a very inexpensive canvas panel that I bought from Jerry's Artarama. It's a 12 by 12. Sometimes they have sales at Michael's for canvas panels. Now these are different from the stretched canvas. Now the stretched canvas is a lot thicker, but I like this because it's very flat, it's very compact. It doesn't take up too much room. It says here portrait smooth artist canvas panel, and it's really very fine. It's covered with canvas, but the weave is very tight, so it's very smooth. So anyway, the first thing that I'm going to do, these are my warm-up exercises on tissue paper, and I'm going to glue them like so. This is like making marks, except instead of making the marks directly, I assemble them into a composition. And this time I will use, instead of using Mod Podge, I'm going to use fluid matte medium. And I'm going to use it straight out of the jar. Okay. Now, since this is matte finish, when it dries, you will not see any trace of it. Okay, so that is the first step. Now that I have this preliminary layer, so I think of this as a series of layers. I think of it along the lines of printmaking, which is making marks in layers. You have a succession of layers. So once I get this down, I will start building from here. That's why I like to call it scaffolding or a skeleton. You have a basic layout and then you embellish and build upon it. Here is some brown tissue paper that has a little copper paint on it. Now I do save these little scraps. because they come in very handy for projects like this. Okay. Now I have these leftover pieces from my previous video. These are the index cards that I cut up. And here is some of the cardstock that I offloaded my brayer on. And here's some more pieces of the business cards that I cut up. So I think I can incorporate that into this composition. Let's see. Let me start with this. Now I'm going to have to pre-coat this just to soften it, because it's an index card. It's going to take a while for the glue to soften this, and then it will lay flat. I just have to be a little patient. Now this, do the same with this. Now, I'm just beginning to realize this. Matte medium is not as sticky as Mod Podge. It does adhere the paper to the substrate, but it's not as aggressive, because Mod Podge really is designed as a glue and a sealer. So that's the advantage of Mod Podge as compared to matte medium. This matte medium really is acrylic without the pigment. It's the medium, except that it doesn't have any pigment on it, and that's why it's clear. Now, whether you want to use matte medium or Mod Podge, that is a very personal choice. Now, there may be, I have had some comments from viewers who stress about archival quality. Now, I feel very strongly about this issue. You should not, and I repeat myself, you should not make the fact that it's archival prevent you from making art. Because many great artists, due to their lack of resources, used whatever they could find. Like many of the great painters of abstract expressionism, they used house paint because that's all that they could afford. So just because you use cheap material doesn't mean you can't make good art. It's all about being creative and being resourceful. And just like any good cook, you use what you have in the kitchen. And that's my belief. Because I'm not about to run out and buy the most expensive paints. That does not make good art. Okay, this is copy paper. This is a little easier to mount. Again, this will take a while to soften up and stick to the canvas panel. Okay, it's beginning to soften up and stick. Now in retrospect, I think what I should have done is soak these thicker pieces in glue to soften them first. But you live and learn. And like everything else, everything takes a little patience. try something. Maybe I can persuade this to lay flat with the brayer. It seems to be working. So this is an example of showing how arts, tools for making art, they are interchangeable. And that they are versatile. They're not just for one purpose. You can use it to do different things. It's a little stubborn here. There will always be some stubborn spots. Okay, I'm going to let this air dry before I figure out the next few things to do. In the meantime, I have some more submissions for you to enjoy. So sit back, relax, and I will be right back. Okay, I hope you enjoyed that show of talent from all over. Now I'm going to try something a little daring. This is raw sienna, and this is my gel plate. Now I'm going to introduce some raw sienna into the collage. Now I'm really not sure if this is going to work, but I'm going to give it a try. can find my tool. Going to use my color shaper. Now there are two things that could happen with this. I could ruin the work, or I could make it work. It's one or the other. But I won't know until I try it. Okay. Just going to wipe the spill here. I'm going to blot out some of the excess. Now, using a sponge, I'm going to create some open areas here. Make some more marks. Okay, here goes. So the raw sienna is semi-transparent, so it does show some of what's underneath. That wasn't so bad. Now I will air dry this and move on to the next step. Okay, I'm back. I really took a long, hard look at the piece, and I decided I want to add some more of these cut up pieces. Now these are the pieces that I want to add, and as you can see, I softened them up in a tray with a mixture of water and the matte medium. So the pieces are a little more pliable, so it's easier to mount them. So let me proceed and start mounting these. Now I'm placing them in strategic places where there'll be a maximum of contrast. I should have done this with the other pieces as well. So once the stiff index card absorbs the water, it becomes much easier to mount. There's always that one last piece. I have to be careful not to play with this too much. Okay. So I'm going to let these pieces dry. and I will be back in a few minutes. Okay, here we are at my favorite part of this video, where I get to show you the final product. Here is a close-up, and I'm pleased that the matte finish is really invisible. There's no trace of the medium, and you can even see the subtle textures of the collage elements. So there's a slight three-dimensional effect. But I'm pleased that the pieces lay perfectly flat. They don't stick out, and there's a danger of them coming off. So there's this interplay of contrasting color and texture without using too many colors. There you have it. Now in this case, the jelly plate doesn't play too much of a role. It's really just like a background. In fact, if I think about it, I should have, or I could have, applied the background first and not even use a jelly plate. But I wanted to do some experimentation and show you the possibilities. Now, whether you want to use them or not, that's your personal choice. That's the beauty of art making, is you explore, you find out what works for you and what doesn't, and you just keep going. So thank you so much for watching and subscribing. Thank you for the submissions, all you wonderful, talented viewers. And please keep submitting your pictures to share with everyone. I will put a link in the description box below, so if you want to share your creations, you do not have to be a seasoned artist. You could be a beginner, you could be trying a jelly plate for the first time, or you could be a professional. It doesn't matter. I just want to show everyone that we are a community and we love making art, and we can band together and make each other stronger by lifting each other up. So thank you again, and I hope to see you next time.